So welcome everyone back to now the fourth Shadow Camp unofficial podcast. And today we will be talking to Claudio Moxley, the Bard of Death and Kindness. But to start, to introduce myself and remind everyone, I'm Emily. I play Keket, who is a witch and a cultist of the rat god, and she's a big ritualist of shadow, big caster. If there's a ritual to do, if there's shenanigans to get up to do with rats, there's really shenanigans to get up to in general, she's there for you. So that's who I am.
Mm-hmm. And I am Allison. I play Hejda Marzana. She is a lich. She's undead. She's a politician. She's a diplomat. She gets up to all sorts of shenanigans that have to do with making people believe that they wanted to do something for her, but it's usually not what they wanted in the end. And who's our lovely guest?
I'm Kevin. I play Claudio Moxley, the Bard of Death and Kindness, a character name that I committed to 2 years ago and now have to say fully every time I introduce myself.
It's so good, though. It just rolls off the tongue.
It's just the character decision of, like, I will say the full title each time is becoming a bit much. But, yeah, he is a half human, half halfling, so legally a 3/4ling, which is just me justifying my own height. And yeah, I'm like a jaunty little bard. Yeah, the kind of origin of the idea was that I wanted to be the jolliest man in goth camp. So that's kind of my whole deal.
I love that that's the inception. Yeah, you've given us a little bit of a primer about Claudio. Like, how did you arrive at him as a character versus just beyond just being the jauntiest lad in the goth camp?
Yeah, so I was coming with a group of friends, and I was kind of the add-on. It was like there was 5 of us, 4 of them were in a D&D group together, and so they decided they wanted to be in Shadow based on the characters that they had played. And I was like, cool, I want to camp with you guys, so I'll figure something out. I play music in my day-to-day life, and write a lot of music, and so I was like, okay, I might want to play a bard. That's an interesting fit for the spooky camp, but I can make that work. And the reason for Death and Kindness was I wanted to be able to be like very upbeat and bard-like without it undermining the overall kind of feel of the camp. So that's where the deep part comes from. Yeah.
That's excellent. Yeah, I think that's a really good, it's a really good balancing act. I've always felt this way about Claudio because we started the same year, and I remember getting introduced to you pretty quickly. Like on day one, I think we both went for diplomat, so I got introduced to you pretty quickly. He's a very, I would say, like, breath of fresh air in a camp full of, like, I would say a pretty varied group of people. We have a lot of varied characters, but Claudio definitely sticks out as being a very unique one among that bunch for that reason, because I think he nailed the balance.
Definitely.
The general idea is, like, why Claudio is called to Shadow Camp is that he believes he's been brought there to bring kindness so that the camp as a whole is more cohesive, and can therefore bring death to our enemies, right?
Yes, excellent.
Beautiful.
That's so good.
So you mentioned you were tacking onto a group that was kind of working together. So that may have played a part in why you first joined Shadow, but why did you pick Shadow? Like, what was it about this camp that called to you?
Yeah, so I was... I was going with a group, but I was kind of hoping that we would settle on Shadow Camp, because I think if you look at the different camps, Shadow is the most thematically clear. I think when you're just reading the descriptions, right? There are a lot of characters where you could theoretically place them in blue, silver, red, or green. A lot of Shadow characters, you kind of take one look at them and you're like, okay, yeah, you're in Shadow Camp.
Yeah.
Like the both of you, I'm just like, yeah, I could read that from a mile away. And so I was just kind of excited by that. I thought that, it would be very theatrically interesting. And I was, very happy to be proven right that it would be a very theatrically vibrant camp, and that's kind of like what I do. So yeah, that's how I ended up starting in Shadow.
I love that. That's very like it's really interesting to me that you say that too, because I've heard in the past that like this has been mixed, obviously, because I would agree with you. I think that Shadow does have a pretty strong theme and through line through it, but also that Shadow, I think, has had to kind of grow into itself over the last couple of years. And I think like we're really hitting our stride within the last like 2 or 3 years, I would argue. But like not necessarily that the opinions have like gone against what you just outlined, but I do think it's really interesting that upon reading the theme of Shadow, you were like, that feels really like locked in. You knew what you were getting into, because I felt the same when I picked it. And so I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. I think we've had to figure out how to not be the villain camp exclusively. I think that's the a lot of the difficulty in playing Shadow is, you know, I do not play an evil character, right? I play a very nice man, somewhat morally complicated, but like a very sunny presence, right? And I think we've kind of developed our uh, identity much more, one, around like magic and magical creatures,
Mhm.
and two, around kind of like you know the there's almost like a Bad News Bears feeling.
That's very funny.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
kind of like the ragtag outcast group,
Yep.
and I think that there's a lot of fun in playing that. And yeah, I think we just have a lot of players who have explored different ways to be in Shadow Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great point. And like to that end, so you've talked a little bit about why you first joined. You've talked a little bit about how we've evolved. What got you and subsequently your group of friends to stick around? Why have you stayed in Shadow?
Yeah. So one, for the people. We made so many
Yeah.
lovely friends.
Yeah.
But I will also say, um, I was thinking about this the other day of like if I were to kind of describe the experience of the different camps. Um, like I'm not like a big school spirit kind of guy generally. It's very new to me to feel about Shadow Camp like rah rah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I am. I think it's like if you look at the different camps, if you were to compare them each to like a college experience, like you would say like Blue Camp is like Penn State, right? Big, kind of party school. It's very, very a lot of people. There's the benefits of how big it is. There's also the drawbacks of you can potentially get lost in the shuffle.
Mhm.
Um, Silver is more of like a liberal arts college. Like they're small, everyone knows each other, and there's a lot of things to explore. Um, Red, I would guess, is like West Point. um, uh, Green, I don't have as good of a read on, so I'm going to say Northwestern. Okay, I'm getting to the point of what I was trying to say, which is Shadow is kind of like a conservatory. There's a real sense of artistic exchange. There's, I think, what I found really addictive about Shadow Camp was how easy it is to get interesting story moments and projects off the ground. Um,
Yeah.
and this is true during the game and pre-game. Is like the moment someone says, I'm kind of thinking about doing thing X, Y, or Z, you have 5 people being like, great, that sounds awesome. Let me help make it happen.
So yeah, so you've told us what you like about Shadow. But what about the camp experience as a whole? This can be the game part of the camp or camping itself. Doesn't have to be just about Shadow, but like what do you like about being in one of the camps in that experience?
Ooh, yeah, okay. So I have a lot of friends who play in the bazaar,
Mhm.
and that's like a super awesome experience. I like being in the game. I do like how much plot comes from uh fact that like as a member of camp you have a clear goal, right?
Hmm.
um for Shadow Camp in particular, we have a really good culture of helping each other out. um
Mhm.
I think to like when there's rain or any sort of like difficulty, just have a lot of people running around. I'm not a handy person, but the people who are handy, the DJs, the
Mhm.
Joshes, and what have you, are just like running around with like hammers, being like, stake your things into the ground and like helping each other out. Um, And I think that is true. The same collaborative spirit we have in gameplay, we also have in camping. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I am, definitely the type of person. I like to have the tent, wake up in camp, and that's just how I like to play the game.
Yeah, I think it adds itself so well to just the gameplay experience because you really like. I'd mentioned this at a previous one of our recordings. Is you really don't get that if you do sleep off site. It's like it is the first time I have experienced FOMO, but I've heard that across the board. Is it just like really adds to the experience in and of itself to be in the camp?
Yeah, that 24/7 immersion is really awesome. It's something very special in LARP. I think that kind of immersion you can get when you're camping and so on.
Yeah. So with your experience, this is now your third year, Kevin, right?
This will be my third. Yeah.
Third year. Do you have any like intrinsically quirky shadow moments that you can harken back to? Any stories from your past 3 years that you think would be fun to share?
Yeah, for sure. And stop me if Paris has talked about anything that I've talked about. Paris, who I believe will be your third episode, is canonically my manager.
Yep, they are.
We do play closely together. Also, like one of my best friends. Don't tell them I said that, but
it won't. It definitely won't air live, and they definitely won't hear it. Don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah. So in year 3, one of the people that we came with defected to Blue Camp. Character's name was Argus von Bon. And the reason he defected was just his character, he had been like helping them with battles, so he had kind of made friends with them, and he thought it would be like a really juicy thing to defect camps. And as Kevin, myself, I was like, ooh, that's super fun. As Claudio, there are very few things that can make that character angry, but like disloyalty really, really does.
Yeah.
So I wrote a song about it that has lyrics that I actually can't say.
You wrote a banger about it.
Yeah, not it's just a banger.
Thank you. I do my best. I'm currently writing a Kids Bop version.
Oh my gosh, yes.
To play for the Drakes, but the next year, so this is last year, we sprung a trap for him. So at this point, he had been playing in Blue Camp for all of year 4. He thought it was all water under the bridge. And as a group, we lured him into the orc camp. Got him a drink and everything. Which by the way, we haven't talked much about the orcs, but like they're so awesome.
They're so great.
Just so much respect for, especially in the summer, playing in like so many prosthetics. They add so much to the game.
They do.
But he's just kind of sitting on the end, and then we coordinated this with the orcs. One of the orcs just kind of screams out, "Where is Argus von Bon?" And I just have like the clearest memory in my head of him just kind of sitting on like the end of a bench and just like, "What?"
Just huh, me?
And so we, long story short, there was an orc who like her arc was about being initiated, and her initiation was to ritualistically disembowel Argus von Bon.
It was so good.
Which is just one of those things where I think so many moving parts and so many different, lifting personalities came together to make that moment happen. We would not have done it to him if we did not know that he was going to enjoy it, to be clear. He didn't know this was happening, but he knew we were going to do something like this to him at some point. And I think that's like a hashtag only in shadow kind of moment.
As has been said before, we're just little goth Muppets until you betray us.
Yeah, Everybody should know what flavor they're getting at that point, and I do think it was very on brand what y'all did, and I do appreciate that you mentioned that like you do have a good relationship with this person outside of game, like they, for lack of consenting, like consented to the bit, and I think that that's a really fun aspect of being in Shadow Camp is like finding moments to do that where we're providing really interesting antagonistic role play in some opportunities, but obviously like the players are all into it, everybody's into it.
Yeah, definitely. Being someone's villain can be so much fun.
It can be great for them too, to just like have a moment like that.
Have villains have these moments where you get turned on.
Everyone in Orc Camp looked at Argus von Bon and knew who he was after that. That was a big deal for him.
Yep.
I should also say he then killed me in the final battle. So he got his back. I need to plot more vengeance.
Yeah.
Yes, you do, and just more lyrics in the song too. Like each one just gets a new stanza, right?
Yeah, the endless song of Argus von Bon, the endless ode.
Speaking of your ode of Argus von Bon, can you just tell us a bit about what it's like being a bard at Drachenfest? Because I feel like the bards are kind of a less known kind of character idea at Drachenfest, but you kill it. So what's it like, and what would you recommend to people?
It's interesting because bard is not like a class like it is in D&D, right? It's not something that you select in your character sheet. It's just something that you decide to do. And I think bards are there's a decent amount of us at Drachenfest, but it does like require some amount of real life skills. You know, you can't pretend to play the instrument, you got to actually play it. Although also there is a dancing bard who's really awesome. There are poetry bards. Like it's not inherently music. But I will say I bring a mandolin and a harmonica. And I think the thing that would be most surprising to players is bards make bank. I really think I might be one of the most individually wealthy players at the game.
How much you rocking? What's your bank account look like?
I think I ended the game last year with about like 300 copper.
Whoa!
Yeah, I had a lot. Because people will give you tips, right? So this is, I think, maybe the core play loop. If you're a bard, is you can go around. You can play random songs for people just on the footpaths. They will often tip you. You can also go to the various bars around Drachenfest. So that's Lobacaro, Magpies, and also every camp has a bar. And go up to the bartender. You say, "Hi, I'm a bard. I would like to play in your fine establishment." They will almost always say yes. And sometimes that'll be playing in the background. Sometimes you can kind of command the stage for a little bit. And, you know, I've gotten to do the thing of like standing on a table and having a bunch of people like clapping and singing along.
What a fun moment. Oh my gosh. That's like it's like in a movie or a dream. That doesn't happen ever. That must be so fun.
Have you had people actually like directly hire you, like seek you out and hire you?
So yeah, the thing where I really make my money is I take commissions in game. So I write songs for people. Like, you know, I've written a campaign song for someone who was running for mayor. I wrote a song that was like commemorating character named Enrique, who I don't even know how to explain Enrique. But his whole bit is like, I am the greatest warrior. He's like a little guy like me. And, you know, he told me a story of how he was like heroically, you know, leading a siege, but very clearly he got hit in the leg with a cannon and then immediately, you know, had to take the rest of the battle off. So I wrote a song commemorating his great deeds. Yeah, I think that's like something I love doing. And yeah, sometimes there'll just be an event and they'll want bards there, and they'll either go to the Bards Guild or they'll hire a bard directly. And yeah, you'll get to play. It's super fun.
That sounds
Yeah.
so interesting. Yeah. And I mean, you are the greatest bard in all of the Drachenlands, Claudia
Oh my
Blackslick,
God.
Bard of Death and Kindness. So hire him for your next gig, everybody.
Definitely. Yep.
In the interest of keeping to the performance theme and song theme, we have one last question for you, Kevin. We have a fun one to tie a little bow on this. What do you think is the Shadow Avatar's favorite song, and why?
Let the bodies hit the floor, drowning pool.
I need to know the why on this. This is very funny. Very on brand, I will say.
Why does the Avatar of Death like the song "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor"? Yeah, I feel like it's pretty. I mean, the actual answer is probably some like classical funeral dirge, but I do think we have a little bit of metal. A little bit of new metal vibes in Shadow Camp.
We sure do, yeah. I was gonna say. We have a lot of new metal Molgoth presence in camp.
Yeah.
I think your analogy to the colleges was very apt too, because I always liken all of the different camps to the characters in the Breakfast Club, and to us, to me, we're always Ali Sheedy. We're always the goth kid. Yeah, we're 100% her. So I think it fits with that.
Yeah, and I would say our current iteration of the Avatar too, or the current Avatar's expression, definitely has a little metal in them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's a great fit. Sure. Would you ever take a commission for the Avatar, or like write the Avatar song?
I already wrote the Avatar song.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. He gave me a special power that my mandolin will always be in tune. Now that's a nice thing to imagine. It is never in tune because it's an outdoor event.
We're here to use our imaginations, though. That's the point.
Yeah.
What a nice gift. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. This was so delightful. Appreciate you talking to us.
We could just say thank you and end this here. But I do think you are a bard. We should spring this on you. Can you sing us a verse of one of your songs? Maybe the Ode to Argus Von Bond.
Wow. God, if only I had tuned my mandolin ahead of time. Anticipating that you might do something like this.
Kevin's known us for a long time at this point.
Let me figure out how to position my microphone.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
What a good spring trap to throw at Kevin. I was like, yeah, we're gonna let him off easy, no problem.
No.
Emily's like, nah.
We can't have a bard on and not have him perform.
Yeah.
He is the greatest bard in the Drachenlands. The people must know.
You'd have to censor the song about Argus Von Bon, and I like this other one better. I'm going to play my song about Enrique.
Okay.
The context is that Blue Camp sieged the bazaar last year.
Right, I thought about that.
It bled over into a whole massive melee. It was super fun. And this is the story of Enrique, the hero of the siege. And he also works at a bar called Lo Bacaro, which is the worst bar in all the Drachenlands, and I love it so very much. Okay. When the rabid scourge of Blue Camp assaulted the bazaar, the people needed a savior to be their North Star. When the merchants, guilds, and artisans required a hero, they called upon Enrique of Lo Bacaro. Blue demanded subjugation. They tried to make you beg. So they targeted Enrique and shot him in the leg. It's been a while since I played this song.
You're good.
Shot him in the leg, and yet he stood upon the barricade by sheer force of will. He said, "I am Enrique, and I cannot be killed." When the rabid scourge of Blue Camp assaulted the bazaar, the people needed a savior to be their North Star. I lost my pick. When the merchants, guilds, and artisans required a hero, they called upon Enrique of Lo Bacaro. So when you're feeling down and out, your spirit's running low, whisper the name Enrique. of Lobacaro.
Yay! Beautiful.
Hey. I'm real rusty, but yeah.
No, that was wonderful. And really, I mean, you're just setting people up to see the real performance at the event where it's going to be flawless because your mandolin can't get out of tune. So
Yes.
that was just a teaser. That was just a taste.
Yep.
That was lovely, though, Kevin. Thank you so much, especially for performing that on the spot. That song is so funny. It's so good.
It's if you can like get a picture of, I'll send you a picture of Enrique if you want to flash that up on screen. Context about what this insane man looks like.
Yes.
Please do. That would be lovely.
Yep. Okay, now we can thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. And we'll see you in a few months at the Drachenlands.
A few very, very short months. And it'll be a
to the
great
end,
time.
folks.
To the end.
When the rabid scourge of Blue Camp assaulted the bazaar, the people needed a savior to be their North Star. When the merchants, guilds, and artisans required a hero, they called upon Enrique of Lobacaro. Blue demanded subjugation, they tried to make you beg, so they targeted Enrique and shot him in the leg. And yet he stood atop the barricade by sheer force of will. He said, I am Enrique, and I cannot be killed. When the rabid scourge of Blue Camp assaulted the bazaar, the people needed a savior to be their North Star. When the merchants, guilds, and artisans required a hero, they called upon Enrique of Lobacaro. So when you're feeling down and out, your spirit's running low, whisper the name Enrique of Lobacaro.